Hi everyone, I'm Wafalango and welcome you all in Grammar in Detail. If you are new and not subscribe the channel, so please subscribe the channel and press the bell icon to get some more videos about grammar. Today we will be discussing the ditransitive verb serve from active voice into passive voice. Before starting this, let's little bit discuss the definition of ditransitive verbs. It is pronounced di and d both. You can write it separately as well. Di or detransitive verbs. Di means to, transitive which can be changed into passive voice, and verb which shows an action. So those verbs which need two objects and can be changed in passive voice into four ways. You can change them into four ways are called the di or detransitive verbs. They need one direct object and one indirect object. Direct object means all non-livings and indirect object means all living. So all non-livings are called direct object and all livings are called indirect object. They need one direct object and one indirect object. Why? Because their meaning won't be complete in one object. If I say he serves us, now the meaning is not complete, that what does he serves us, what does he serve us. And in the same way, he serves tea. Now whom does he serve? Tea. So for that the meaning you want to complete, so you need to bring the indirect and direct object together. He serves us tea. So this is what the meaning is clear, that he serves us what? Tea. He serves tea whom? Us. So in the same way, we mostly bring the indirect object at the beginning, direct at the end. But if you want to shuffle the places, you need to use a preposition with your indirect object, means us. Like he serves tea to us. So he serves us tea, he serves tea to us. So this is the way to change them in active voice into two ways. But our main target is how we are going to change them from active voice into passive voice. Keep in your mind, ditransitive verb serve we will be changing in the past continuous tense. What is the definition of the past continuous tense? We use this tense for those actions which were in progress in past. So those actions which were continued in past, for that we will be using the past continuous tense, and we will be having today's ditransitive verb serve with past in the continuous tense in simple sentences. First we will be discussing the simple sentences. What are simple sentences? Those sentences which make simple statement are called simple sentences. She was serving you a glass of water. She was serving a glass of water to you. So this is the way to change them into passive voice. She was serving you. Now what she was serving you? A glass of water. She was serving a glass of water whom? To you. Now in the same way, there are two ways to change them into active voice, but there are four ways to change them into passive voice. First, keep in your mind, when you bring the subject, the doer of an action, in the place of object, here it will not be called object. It will become and here it will be called agent. And what is the definition of agent? It tells us who does an action in a sentence. And when you bring the object, whether that is indirect object or the direct object, whether you bring them at the beginning, like you, when you bring at the place of subject you, and a glass of water, the direct object. So here these subjects will be called the title or topic subject. Clear? And what is title or topic subject? A person, place or a thing in a sentence which we are talking about is called title subject. And when you comes indirect object at the first and second sentence at the beginning, so by her come at the beginning, a glass of water at the end, a glass of water at the beginning, by her at the end. And when you bring the direct object, a glass of water at the beginning, so by her comes at the beginning, to you at the end, to you at the beginning, by her at the end. Now this way you will be changing them. You were being served by her a glass of water. You were being served a glass of water by her. A glass of water was being served by her to you. A glass of water was being served to you by her. Next we have got the negative sentences. Those sentences in which we deny the statement, reject the statement and refuse the statement are called negative sentences. She was not serving you a glass of water. She was not serving a glass of water to you. You were not being served by her a glass of you were not being served by her a glass of water. You are not being served a glass of water by her. A glass of water was not being served by her to you. A glass of water was not being served to you by her. Next we have got the interrogative sentences. Those sentences in which we ask question and put queries are called interrogative sentences. Was she serving you a glass of water? Was she serving a glass of water to you? Were you being served by her a glass of water? Were you being served a glass of water by her? Was a glass of water being served by her to you? And was a glass of water being served to you by her? Next we have got the formal sentences. Those sentences in which we ask question, deny the statement, and we ask them in a polite and formal way. Was she not serving you a glass of water? Was she not serving a glass of water to you? Were you not being served by her a glass of water? Were you not being served a glass of water by her? Was a glass of water not being served by her to you? Was a glass of water not being served to you by her? Last we have got informal sentences. Those sentences in which we ask question, deny the statement, and we ask them in an informal way, in a friendly atmosphere. We use it with our juniors and youngers and to whom you are close with. Wasn't she serving you a glass of water? Wasn't she serving a glass of water to you? Weren't you being served by her a glass of water? Weren't you being served a glass of water by her? Wasn't a glass of water being served by her to you? Wasn't a glass of water being served to you by her? So these are the sentences of ditransitive verbs serve from active voice into passive voice in the past continuous tense. Hope you got today's lecture. Wish you best of luck. See you next time with next lecture. Goodbye.